I'd like to take a minute to explain the front post double crochet stitch that I utilize in the mushroom sprite pattern, the upcoming pixie patterns, and the upcoming fancy fish patterns, all by Crafty Intentions, and they'll be accessible in my shop under my shop name Crafty Intentions on Etsy and Ravelry. To demonstrate it, I've created the topmost portion of one of the mushroom sprite patterns. It's basically 16 stitches around, and then I did one row of front loop only single crochets and increases all the way around to create this nice ridge, which will serve as the start base of the flat platform that we want on the underside of the mushroom top. We also want this underside to have a lot of texture to look like a real mushroom, so we're going to utilize the front post double crochets to do that. The first stitch is a double crochet into the first available stitch, and then the next stitch is a front post double crochet. To do a front post stitch or a back post stitch, you need to work around the post of the next available stitch. Ordinarily, you would work into the top of the next available stitch. That is not what we're going to do. We're going to insert the hook beside the stitch and then bring it back out on the other side of the stitch so that the post of the stitch is held on the hook. This is a little bit easier when you're working into a taller stitch like a double crochet, but it can be done with a single crochet. It's just a different length of post. So single crochet posts are very low, half double crochets are a little taller, double crochets a little taller. That post is what we're working along. So we're going to yarn over, insert next to the next available single crochet stitch, and out the other side of it. This is where the top of the stitch would be, and then we'll complete that double crochet and we get one front post double crochet stitch. Front post stitches usually make the post of that double crochet stand out quite a bit, and that makes a really interesting, beautiful texture, and that's what we want. The next stitch is another double crochet into the next available stitch, so you will not be working into the top of the stitch you just worked around its post. You will leave that stitch alone. That's already been worked into, so the third available stitch on the previous row is what you'll work that next double crochet stitch into, and now you have a sandwich effect, a lower double crochet, a front post double crochet, and another double crochet. And now the next instruction is an ampersand or and front post double crochet. And this may seem tricky, but I promise you it's not. You're going to create a front post double crochet around the same stitch you just worked into. So we worked into the top of this single crochet stitch, but now we're going to work a front post double crochet around that same single crochet stitch right there. So we're going to insert it to go behind the post and back out the front, working on the front of the work, and yarn over and create that front post double crochet. This creates an increase, two double crochets in the same stitch, but one is a regular double crochet and one is a front post double crochet. And you're going to repeat those instructions all the way around, working around the posts of these lower single crochets. This will become easier in following rows because you'll be working around the posts of double crochets previously, and that's a little easier to spot where those posts are, but you can do it with the single crochet stitches as well. I hope that helped.